Hello and welcome to the November 1990 premiere edition of Persona Video Magazine. In this month's issue of Persona, we track down Clint Eastwood on the plains of Africa during shooting of his latest motion picture. Then back to the jungles of Southern California for a quick peek at Playboy's Playmate of the Year. We'll spend a few minutes at home with one of entertainment's more successful character actors, Robert Picardo. Our next stop is the doctor's office for a quick examination of actor Matt Frewer. After that, you'll feel like some refreshment, so let's stop in at Alzado's for a head-to-head confrontation with Lyle Alzado. Next, it's out to the alley with Brooke Shields for a behind-the-scenes look at her backstreet dreams. Along about this time, you'll need a few laughs. As if by magic, the amazing Jonathan will provide them for you. Then it's time to don your cape and mask for an action-packed ride with the original Caped Crusader, Zorro. After all the swordplay, it's off to Hollywood for a star-studded Tennessee reunion. On the way, we'll make a quick stop at the mailbox for some song and dance from Shirley MacLaine about postcards from the edge. In our final frame, actress Marilu Henner teaches us a few things about living life. In this month's music segments, we spotlight Michael Jackson's brother Randy, chart topper Sybil, ex-Foreigner lead singer Lou Gramm, and David Cassidy. For an astrological update on some of your favorite stars, watch Star Watch with Karen Christian. All this and much, much more in this issue of Persona.
Hello, I'm Charles Terry Goldstein, publisher of Persona Video Magazine. Persona is the highest form of communication we know of today. Persona combines the very best of broadcast journalism with print journalism to bring you exclusive interviews with celebrities at home, at work, and at play. Persona was designed with the viewer in mind. Unlike a television viewing experience where you see several commercials in a row, with Persona, each commercial stands alone, and the commercials do not interrupt the features. Remember, Persona was duplicated on super high-grade cassettes. So when you're done viewing Persona, use it as you would use a blank cassette to tape your favorite show. Thank you for buying Persona. We hope you'll enjoy Persona as much as we've enjoyed creating it for you.
On location in Africa, Clint Eastwood the director is directing Clint Eastwood the actor in White Hunter, Black Heart.
Well, Eastwood the actor responds to Eastwood the director by doing exactly as he's told. So it's very easy to do. A very disciplined actor.
Sunday!
John, maybe you shouldn't be in the picture business.
Maybe you're right, kid. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should have wandered the planet gambling on oil wells or stolen diamonds or pimped for Maharajas.
Maybe you should have, but you know why you didn't? Because somewhere deep inside of you is a small, tiny spark of hope.
Oh, pal. I'll die broke in a downtown Los Angeles flophouse, and I won't be bitter. I'll have contributed maybe 5, 10 damn good pictures. They'll name a special Academy Award for me. And you know something? All the wrong guys will get it. And I'll be in hell laughing my ass off.
Well, John Wilson is a film director who's very much of a rebel. Sort of a displaced person. I mean, he lives wherever he can. He's running away from debt. And he's loosely based upon Peter Vertel's experiences with John Huston in 1951 when they filmed The African Queen. And I guess Huston wasn't above some sort of obsessive behavior along the way. So Vertel wrote a what-if novel about it. And I think something about the story is actually more timely today than it was then. The study of this kind of behavior, also the subplot of the concern that a lot of people have over the large animals in Africa, rhinos and elephants, etc., and the potential demise of these creatures, I think has made this story more pertinent today than it was in 1953 when the novel first came out. so very much unlike me in a lot of ways, and yet he's very much like me in other ways. He is unlike me in the sense that he is a guy who goes off and with not a lot of responsibility towards the financiers of the film, but at the same token, he's like me. I like his feelings about taking broad steps and not being afraid to tackle new projects. And
picture shot in black and white or sepia tone, or we have to make the whole damn thing in animation. Pete and I are going to Africa. There are times in this life when you can't wonder whether it's the right or the wrong thing to do. Not for guys like you and me, kid. You just gotta pack up and go.
He's a real dichotomy, Wilson. He's a guy who can be very, very stand up for the underdog, fight for the underdog. John Huston, when he went to Africa in 1951, was appalled, I guess, with the treatment of blacks in their own country.
What happened here, Harry?
Oh, the little black bastard spilled a drink all over this gentleman.
On purpose?
Who knows? Black bastards.
Harry, I think you're a yellow, rotten, sadistic son of a bitch.
No, Mr. Wilson. I don't have to take that kind of talk from anyone.
That's right, you don't. How about going outside and trying to kick me around?
I like working a lot. I always have, and I guess if I didn't, I would have retired some time ago. And but I really like it, and I like time off too. I took a couple of years off to become mayor of a community that I was involved with, but at the same token, I was glad to get back to work when that job was over with. So I'm a laid-back workaholic. Africa is so bright and has its own look, so distinctive. The fact that it's so far away, it's like crossing the United States 3 times to get there if you're going from north and south, and you're taking a lot of equipment, people down there. It was very tough, and shooting in the Zambezi River, a rapid sequence is a little different than maybe the Colorado River. It's a fabulous country, and I enjoyed it very much. It's the film that I started out to make. It's the film the way I perceived it, and so I'm satisfied. That isn't the question. Now becomes, I think John Wilson in the film, the character I play, states that to make a film you should never be influenced by it. You should forget the fact that anyone's ever going to see it, and that way you go ahead and make the film the way you see it, and then put it out. Well, it's beyond that now for me. It's now turned over and it's in the eyes of the beholder. So I'm satisfied with it, but it's a question of the audiences now. If it's something that audiences want to see and enjoy as much as as I enjoyed making it.
Clint Eastwood is well known to all of us for his roles in films in which the action was hot, even though they lacked a certain sensitivity. As a director, Clint Eastwood has also done quite well, starting with his directorial debut with the film Bronco Billy. Released in 1980, Bronco Billy brought in over $24 million. His second film, Firefox, was released in 1982, with Eastwood portraying fighter pilot Mitchell Gant. Firefox brought in over $45 million. Also in '82, Clint starred in and directed Honky Tonk Man. This time, Clint tried to sing and play the guitar and only brought in a little over $3.5 million. For Christmas of '83, Eastwood had sudden inspiration and came up with Sudden Impact, grossing more than $67 million. Sudden Impact had just that. For 1985, Clint brought us Pale Rider, a throwback to his spaghetti western days in all but box office receipts. Pale Rider made better than $41 million. In December of 1986, Clint joined the Marines, this time directing and starring in Heartbreak Ridge. Fighting its way to the top, this film brought in over $42 million. With the 1988 film Bird, Clint's decade of directing has to date brought in $227,582,469.
Clint Eastwood, White Hunter, Blackheart,
I don't care if this picture's shot in black and white or sepia tone, or we have to make the whole damn thing in animation. Pete and I are going to Africa. There are times in this life when you can't wonder whether it's the right or the wrong thing to do. Not for guys like you and me, kid. You just gotta pack up and go.
John Wilson, a brilliant, don't-give-a-damn type filmmaker who continually violated all the unwritten laws of the motion picture business, yet had the magic, almost divine ability to always land on his feet.
Paul, I hope I don't have to kill you before this picture's finished.
He's always been like that.
No, he's worse than ever. He's insane. In a well-ordered society, he'd be in a straitjacket right now.
If there's half as much love in this old gal as there is talk, I may be dead in the morning.
John, give it up. Something terrible is wrong. The man has the fever. It's just like any passion. It's irresponsible and it's destructive.
This is simply paradise here. In fact, I'm seriously thinking of staying here forever.
Clint Eastwood, White Hunter, Blackheart.
I would like to introduce our new Playmate of the Year, Renee Tennyson.
Renee Tennyson was the picture of poise during the official announcement at the Playboy Mansion, but when Renee first heard that she's Playboy's Playmate of the Year for 1990, her demeanor was a bit different.
I was about ready to die when they called and told me. I was jumping up and down. I couldn't believe it. I was so happy. I was running all over the house trying to find my boyfriend. I won!
At Miss USA.
Renee is the first black Playmate of the Year in the 31 years that Playboy's picked them.
Renee was not chosen because she was black. She was chosen because she was the most beautiful and poised and most personable and appropriate Playmate of the Year, I thought, to represent Playboy all year long.
I really don't think it makes too big of a racial statement because you've already had the first black Miss America and the black USA, so it's not quite as big. Now it's more acceptable, so I really don't think that it's too big of a statement. I'm proud as could be.
The pages of Playboy seem like a world away for Renee, who grew up in Melba, Idaho, population 300. But the small-town girl gave it her best shot, literally, during the 35th annual Playmate Hunt.
My boyfriend came up with the idea for me to send my pictures into Playboy after I had did a Halloween contest and I dressed up as a Playboy bunny, and he just said, you have to send your pictures into Playboy, and I did. I didn't even expect to be accepted, so for me, it was just wild because I'd always wanted to do something along the lines of modeling, but Playboy was always like way out there. I never thought I would make it, so for me, it was like a dream when they called me and said that I was even being tested, so it was really weird for me to get accepted. But I didn't tell anyone until I knew I was going to be in the magazine. And then I told my family about it because I figured there was nothing they could do up until then. And I didn't know if I was going to be printed, but when I found out, I told them. And their reaction was pretty good. They were happy for me, so it worked out all right. I think there was a little bit of surprise, especially for my sister, because she thought she knew me really well and everything and knew everything I would do. So for her, it was like, I can't believe you're doing this. So I think she was the one who was probably the most shocked about it.
Hi, I'm Renee Tennyson, the Playmate of the Year for 1990.
No, you're not seeing double. Renee's sister Rosie is her identical twin and best friend, so Rosie's reaction meant a lot to Renee.
There was a little bit of jealousy because I had asked her to send her pictures in with me, but she didn't want to do it at the time, so now she's like, boom, I wished I would have. And she's really happy for me, though. I mean, it's not like a lot of jealousy. She's happy for me, but she wishes it could have happened to both of us.
Posing for the pages of Playboy turned out to be much more enjoyable for Renee than making the special Playmate of the Year video.
I prefer posing for print because there's not as many people there. In print, there's maybe 2 or 3 people. In video, there's maybe 20. And you have to dance and you have to be a lot more energetic. So it's harder to do in front of people you don't know very well, but it's really hard. And then you go on location, and we were about 2 hours out of LA in this desert, and we went from one extreme to another. It was like 110 degrees out there, and then it dropped all the ways to 40. So, and then it's just really hard to do, but I would probably not want to do it again.
Many things have changed in Renee's life since she became Playmate of the Year. She now has a new car and $100,000, but there's one change Renee's seen that she doesn't like.
Whenever I see people that know me or knew me before, it's like they act a little bit different. So a lot of people won't approach you because they're afraid that you're not going to be nice or you won't talk to them and everything. So if you see a Playmate, come out and talk.
Moonshine night, mountain village, insane in the woods and the deep trees.
Count on the sun as it will always watch you growing. Count upon the land to sow the seeds in every young man, beating on the drum, shouting at the moon. No matter what the promise is, I'll never move from this old land of mine. Promises today. Just watch the people try to steal the land beneath the clay, the land on which our blood has stained the grass. Beating on the drum, screaming at the moon. Promises are promises. I'll never move from this whole land of mine. Far, far cry from all the words of exaltation. Far, far cry how each child is supposed to be equal. I'm amazed as we look the other way. To this day, we still don't believe. Far, far cry, beating on the drum. Far, far cry, screaming at the moon. Far, far cry, beating on the drum. Far, far cry. How long do we need to push our brother to the ocean? How long do we need to push our sisters to the sea? How many broken promises until we get the message? Promises are promises. We know our equal, we will never feel the free. Beating on the drum, screaming at the moon. Beating on the drum, screaming at the moon. Screaming on the drum, screaming at the
If you know you've seen this face before, but just can't place it, you're not alone.
People who see me on the street or in the supermarket, they don't, they think they know me, but they don't know why. I have one of those kind of faces. They think, that I was their contractor, or I'm the teller at their bank, or I ripped their brother-in-law off for a bad used car or something like that.
You've seen him as Coach Cutlip on The Wonder Years.
Not a mental heavyweight. Thinks he's doing the right thing for the boys. He's clearly a paranoid schizophrenic.
He's also Dr. Dick Richard on China Beach and was the cowboy in Inner Space and a werewolf in The Howling, a film that gave him a chance to do some interesting things.
I got to pull a bullet out of my brain. I tore women's throats out. It was a lot of fun.
Robert portrays a trash man in The Burbs and a juvenile alien in Explorers, and the list goes on and on.
I've even played a woman in a movie, but I'll get back to that.
Robert Picardo is a character of an actor, one of the few who believes it's a benefit not having his face recognized everywhere he goes.
I actually kind of like that because it gives me the freedom to play a lot of different roles. And when you get very identified as an actor, you're often identified playing a certain kind of role or a particular role. And I think it gives you more freedom. And, one of the reasons I don't live in the heart of Los Angeles is that I like the feeling that I have a normal life. I have a backyard, I have a wife and a beautiful little baby, and we have a normal life. We don't go to Spago every night and try to be seen.
This is my wife, Linda. Roman Polanski introduced me to her at a party This is my baby, Nicolette, who is now 8 months old. And this is my wife, Linda.
Do not give my age, Bob.
Who's more than 8 months.
Maintaining a normal home life is more difficult for Robert and Linda these days than when they married 6 years ago. As his acting career grows, so does the recognition that goes along with it. And working on 2 hit shows simultaneously means that Robert now spends more hours on the set than at home.
The most difficult part is that there are days at a time when I don't see Linda at all, except when I get home and I have a half an hour, we have a quick bite to eat, and we basically just go to sleep, and then I get up before she's awake and leave. So there are days at a time when I only see Linda for a few minutes, and I only see the baby asleep. In other words, the baby's already asleep when I get home. I go in and I look at her sleeping. I touch her head and she goes like that, and then I leave her alone, and then I go the next morning. I look at her and she's still sleeping. So that's tough, when I miss Nikki for 2 or 3 days in a row.
You're totally upstaging Daddy, which is what you're supposed to do.
I really wanted to be a father, so it's a job I wanted for a long time. So I was excited about taking it on. As to what, and I like to think, we have to ask Linda this question, but I like to think that so far in the 8 months we've had Nikki, I've gotten up many times during the night and helped and fed her and changed her, and not as much as Mom, but quite a bit for a guy. Tried to do it every other night, as a matter of fact. So I've been taking part a lot in her life so far. I have this nightmare already that at age 12 she's going to look like Valerie Bertinelli, and the guys are going to be coming to the door already. So what I'm going to do then, I don't know. Whether I'm going to, whether I'm going to let her date before she's 25. Well, I don't know. It's funny how you already think that far into the future. She hasn't even crawling yet, and I'm already thinking of protecting her from, not just from hurting herself crawling, but protecting her from guys.
Robert looks after more than just Nicolette. The Picardo clan includes nearly a dozen pets, and showbiz is running in the family. Robert has 2 iguanas, Ziggy and Bud, and they appeared on a local television show. One of his parrots performed on the Pat Sajak show.
Murphy's first impression is a lunch pail. Okay, and his second impression is a dust mop.
Boy, he's gonna be filthy after being on that table.
Oh, and the next one's on you. Now, then he's also a lint brush.
You can stop the camera anytime.
Actually, the cameras keep rolling in Robert's career. In addition to his 2 television programs, Robert starred as a corporate villain in the sequel to Gremlins. With his acting career soaring and his home life flourishing, Robert Picardo seems to have the price of fame covered.
The greatest joy in my life, other than my home life, is to act. So if I get well known as an actor, it's going to help me to continue to act. So that's the good part of it. The bad part of it is that you lose a little something. It changes something about your life. You become, you lose part of your privacy. That's all.
It's salad at the Andersons.
Yeah.
Come on, please, hurry.
Yeah, man.
Hurry. Ta-da! Whoa! You salad killers, try my brand new great tasting salad dressing in a spray bottle. 1 calorie a spray!
Introducing Richard Simmons Salad Spray. Only 1 calorie per spray.
Your salads will never be the same.
For actor Matt Frewer, television has been more than just a means of support. For Matt, TV is a way of life. Matt broke onto American television screens with a program originally produced in England for the BBC called Max Headroom. Unfortunately, TV audiences were not quite ready to sit through 30 minutes of high-concept programming that took place, as the show stated, 10 minutes into the future.
I think that's probably one of the reasons why it got pulled off the air, was that people probably weren't ready for it, because it's not the kind of show that you can really be, slapping your golden retriever out of the way when you're watching it. You really have to sit down and concentrate, and and it was a little offbeat. I think we were sort of guilty, though, of style over content in the end. It kind of, everybody got so preoccupied with, getting the look of the thing, which was bright white light through smoke, that the characters kind of fell by the wayside.
Max Headroom, the TV show, might not have done so well, but, as is true with so many products today, the Max Headroom Coca-Cola commercials produced for network television in the U.S. received much greater recognition.
I think the Coca-Cola commercials were seen here first, and also we did a Max Headroom kind of Christmas special, and that was seen over on HBO. But yeah, the Coke ads were the kind of calling card, really. I mean, that's how the character was introduced. That's how the character was really introduced to American audiences, via the Coke commercials.
After Max Headroom, the show, and the commercials, Matt made his way onto the big screen in films like Short Time and the box office hit Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the one film in which Matt had plenty of room to improvise.
We actually improvised quite a lot beforehand, but the whole nature of making the movie was one where everybody was, there was a lot of time to do things. I think it's been good. I mean, it can only help your career if you're in a hit movie, and that one made like $120 million, and it increases your visibility and all that sort of stuff. I think it's really good news.
I was feeling.
Matt has returned to television as the irrepressible Dr. Mike Stratford on CBS TV Network's Dr. Doctor, a role that allows him the creative freedom he needs to feel at home on the show.
There's lots of stuff. I mean, it's in every scene. I ad lib or change stuff or chuck new stuff in. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's mine. But I mean, it's a tribute to Norman that he's confident enough in his own stuff that he allows me to kind of go bananas with it. Because a lot of writers won't and don't. I mean, with the Max Headroom stuff, for instance, I mean, if I wanted to change something, I practically had to phone it in, even if it was punctuation. Just want to change a colon.
And what was his first meeting with Norman Steinberg, the executive producer of Dr. Doctor, like? Matt remembers it this way.
He was face first in his own puke on La Cienega, and he called me over to his house, and I had a glass cutter. I broke it. No, he called me over to his house, and we had a long talk. And he very early on said, anytime you want to ad lib and improvise with this, go to it. And that was really the clincher for me. I mean, that's really why I went forward with the thing. It was because it seemed like such a great working relationship that was developing, and that's where the fun is.
Norman Steinberg also remembers his first meeting with Matt.
We were interviewing other people. and I was told that he was just coming back to America from England, and I wanted to interview him, and I wanted to meet him. And my wife said, I told her Matt's coming to the house, and my wife said, we've been down this road with actors before. David and I did a show, which will not be named, on which we had a terrible experience with an actor. She said, I'm not getting close to these people. They break our hearts. We're not going to do this anymore. So Matt came into the house, and I said, would you like a coffee? And she said, yeah. I said, I'll go get the coffee. I came back about 5 minutes later, made coffee. My wife is sitting there, and she's going like this, leave us alone. Leave us alone.
Producing Dr. Doctor involves a great deal more than just having a few actors read a script in front of the camera. What you see on Monday night is the result of a long and rather complicated series of events. David Frankel, producer of Dr. Doctor, explains.
Very often a writer will come to us, pitch us an idea for a story. We'll approve the story. The writer will write the script. He or she will do 2 or 3 drafts. Then our writing staff will work it over, put it in shape. We'll read it on the reading day, which you saw today. Then it's Wednesday morning. Cast rehearses it Wednesday afternoon. Thursday they rehearse. Thursday afternoon is a first run through for us. We do a major rewrite. Fix any of the problems we see. Anything that's not funny enough for us, we'll fix. Friday they work the rewrite. Friday afternoon is a run through for the production staff, the writers, and the network. The network gives us their notes. We make final changes. And then on Monday, all day is the camera crew comes in and the show is blocked. And the cameras learn their moves, the actors find their marks, so that technically everything runs smoothly on Tuesday, which is when we do a dress rehearsal, and Tuesday night shoot the show.
For the cast, each week's show begins with a read-through of the script, a process that can be a lot of fun combined with a lot of work.
Although there was that tattooed, bearded brute who came here this morning desperately wailing your name.
Did he leave?
Not before he ate most of the donuts.
Then wait till Richard.
After the read-through, the producers, the writers, and the director sit down to discuss and implement changes in the script.
Yeah, scene B.
No.
As soon as the rewrites and scene changes are complete, it's time to bring the cast back for rehearsal and more rehearsal.
Good morning, good morning. Where are the donuts? Guilty, guilty, guilty.
Here's where the... Oh, in here? It's baby roots and beer. Mike, are you doing the shopping again?
Here they are, some sweets for the Swede. You made me laugh so hard I almost peed. Love, Mr. Darren Dufine. I'd like to read that one again.
Moving right along.
Quiet on stage, please.
Action man. Action
Over here.
Oh, thought it was last night's chili.
Has anyone been looking for me?
While the actors and the director work to make the characters come to life, there's an army of technicians that work behind the scenes that we never see. Producer and unit production manager Bruce Chevalier explains how Dr. Doctor differs from other shows and why the show is filmed rather than videotaped.
We chose film because they like the look better. It's not as live and immediate as tape. It gives you more of a softer quality to it. And what the difference in filming is that it's just the director's on the floor. Normally in tape, the director's is in a booth or in the control room. We have 3 men on each camera, whereas in tape, the tape operator is also, he pushes the camera around. We have 3 men on each camera. We have a dolly grip. We have a camera operator and camera assistant. Normally tape, you have the boom men on the floor, and you have a cable man pulling them. We boom from on the scaffolding. It gives you a cleaner look, and you don't get as many boom shadows necessarily. So it's just it's a different procedure.
Once every scene has been rehearsed and blocked off by the camera and lighting people, an audience is brought in, and it's on with the show.
Deirdre, is it your turn to get the donuts? What is this? This is Baby Ruth's and beer. Good, Mike, you've been doing shopping again.
From Deirdre's new boyfriend.
He's not my boyfriend.
And there's a card. Here they are, some sweets for the Swede. You made me laugh so hard I almost peed. Love, Mr. Darren Dufine.
I'm not Swedish, I'm Irish.
I think I'm gonna cry. You know, this beer is not even imported beer.
He made it himself on his own still.
Did not.
He did. You drink too much of that stuff, you'll go blind.
That's not true. Deirdre, don't let this one get away.
He's not my boyfriend.
The song is familiar, but the voice doesn't belong to Dionne Warwick. You're listening to Sybil, one of the hottest new artists on the dance charts today.
It's really wild. See, I grew up listening to Dionne Warwick. I mean, we have the Promises. I think we have every album. I call them the before and after album because she looked so different when she was younger. And now she's just like, it's like a chameleon, you know. And she's really, the older she's gotten, the prettier she's gotten. And so she's from Jersey, and I was a little Jersey knucklehead.
And so if I seem broken and blue.
It was funny because when they asked me to do it, I was really kind of apprehensive simply because, you know, you're like, gosh, you know, what do I do with something that's already been, you know, a hit? Walk On By, Eddie O'Loughlin says, look, I think it's a good song. And that's always been one of my favorite Dionne Warwick songs. That and Promises are probably, you know, two of my, most favorite. Because I didn't even know about Don't Make Me Over. I wasn't born then. It was 1962. I came like a year later.
Although she wasn't even born when Dionne began singing, Sybil's been going strong since 1986.
It's kind of good that people think I'm a phenomenon, but I know that it takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of hard work and dedication and loyalty to your craft, because I think a lot of times they want it to happen overnight, and it would sound so great. It would sound like something out of a Cinderella story, but the bottom line is you really got to work hard at this business, because there are a lot of people that are out here who can really, really sing and who are really, really talented, really, really great looking, and they just, you know, either they have one, you know, they have some or not, you know, it's just like really weird about how the music business works.
Apparently, though, the music business is working for Sybil, and her success is paying off literally.
That's probably the best thing. I mean, I got to pay off student loans, major credit card bills, and you know, things of that nature. And that was the best thing. But in terms of I've been really fortunate in that I've always had really decent jobs. I mean, after college, I got a really good paying job, and to be so young, and I have no children, no dependents. I don't have anybody to worry about but me, and of course my mom and dad, you know. But I really never really worried about being a success, so to speak, in the music industry. I just like doing it, and it's always been fun, and so I'm being blessed right now, and I just think it's just kind of lucky for me. It's like kind of coming together, and the voice that the good Lord blessed me with, I'm able to sing, you know, use, and so I'm real glad about that.
But in the beginning, Sybil wasn't so cooperative about her career.
Here I was, this real headstrong, thought I had just gotten my college degree. I was not interested. I wanted to use it. I felt like Dad had paid all this money for college, and I wanted to work. I felt like, gosh, working would be like, I'd really be proving to my dad my independence. Anyway, I'd be poor, but I'd be, you know, showing him I was independent. But what happened is a friend of mine from high school, I had done a lot of community theater and musical theater in high school, and just sang all the time. Every time I turned around, they were getting me involved in something. And it was fun for me. It was extracurricular. And he says, look, we want you to do some work with this producer. They have this girl and they want to use her and da-da-da-da-da. And I kind of was like, okay, fine. I was willing to go in and write and work with musical arrangements with him on that. I did not have any idea, any inkling that when I got down there, they were going to put me on the spot. And I just can't stand being put on the spot. I was like, forget it. You want me to sing? And you sit there, you know, I had much attitude, okay, major attitude. I'm sitting there going, why are you tricking, you know, what's going on? So the first song that I did was, the song that I auditioned with was my very first record, Falling in Love, and the rest from there has been, you know, history. I've paid my dues, and I want to pay some more, because I think that when you work hard at it, and work harder, you appreciate and savor the taste a little longer. You know, if it comes too easy, then you forget it. You're like, oh, wow, you know what I mean? It's just like your ego and stuff gets all big, but I'm just like, I like this.
As a star athlete turned actor, Lyle Alzado is used to having top billing. Lyle starred on the football field for 16 NFL seasons and even attempted a comeback for the 1990-91 NFL season. Now Lyle's name is in lights once again with a new arena. Located in Hollywood, California, Alzado's houses memorabilia from many sports, but features Lyle's decorated football career. The trophy-lined walls stand as a testament to a man who achieved success on and off the field with a tenacity and fighting spirit that's legendary. Lyle has come to understand what motivated him on the field.
I had this stigma about me that
I was this giant, nasty, mean, ferocious animal. And whether I am or whether I'm not has got nothing to do with it. But what and how I performed on the athletic field, on the football field, whether it was with the Denver Broncos, the Cleveland Browns, or the Los Angeles Raiders, that's what I set out to do, is to beat people up. And that's what pro football is. It's a violent game, and I played it to its fullest, or tried to. It doesn't mean I was the best athlete on the field, but I certainly played a physical game as there ever has been. The reason why I played pro football in the first place was not for the love of anything, but for the anger that I had. I grew up in a very bad area, and I came up in with a very poor background. And the violence that I saw that in the neighborhood that I grew up in, the people that hurt me, or people that I had to hurt in retaliation or for protection of myself and my family, created a lot of anger in me, and that's the reason why I played with so much emotion and so much anger on the field. There were gangs. I was a member of a gang in Brooklyn. I'd been in a boys' home twice. Many of the 25 friends that I grew up with are not alive anymore. There are 4 of us still alive, and I might say the 4 of us are doing pretty well. Many of the things that you see as a normal family, I never had a normal family life. My father has been in and out of prison most of his life. My mother's wonderful. As a matter of fact, she lived with me for many, many years, and she lives with my older brother now. I have 5 real brothers and 6 half-brothers and sisters. There's a lot of people to contend with, a lot of emotions, a lot of learning how to survive. When you see your brother or your sister hungry, or something that they don't have something to wear, clothes-wise, I mean, it's a difficult process to understand why those things happen. So there's a lot of anger there for a lot of reasons. The actual reason that I retired from pro football was because the fire had burned out. The anger and the disgust of people and trusting people and being mistrusted and misused died out. And I found good friends and good people. And I have a lot of nice lady friends who are good people. My partners in the restaurant, Stevie Ritchie, are wonderful guys. And I find that those things that angered me before have dissipated to the point where I didn't have the emotion that I once had as an athlete. I used to take the field and have so much anger and so much emotion that I would explode. And that's what created so much violence on the field. And at the same time, I realized that near the end of my career, when I would take the field, the emotion wasn't the same. One day it would be there, one day it wouldn't be. And then I knew it was time to leave. You know, the most courageous thing an athlete does is to know when it's time to leave, but the greatest thing he does is to leave.
When Lyle first retired in 1985, he took with him a long list of achievements, but Lyle is most proud of an honor he received off the field for his involvement with unfortunate children.
I think one of the finest moments I've been able to experience is, goodness, in 1977 and 78, I was defensive lineman and defensive player of the year in the NFL, and went to the Pro Bowl a few times. And yet, all those things, even playing in the World Championship and winning it in 1983, I mean, I cried after the clock ran down and there was no time left, and Marcus Allen put his arms around me and Tom Flores hugged me and they told me, "This one's for you." And the night I received my Super Bowl ring, the World Championship ring, three giant diamonds. It says Los Angeles Raiders World Champions. And that's the thing you work for your whole life. But all those things didn't amount to very much when I was in Chicago, and I had been working with a number of kids, and I went to this banquet called the BBF banquet, Better Boys Foundation. And it was a total surprise to me that they introduced me, and I received recognition for working with the kids in the United States and in Canada. And I say that because it just made me feel like the closest that I had with some of the kids in this country meant an awful lot to me, and I didn't think really anybody knew about it. And yet, to have that known and have those kids see me there like that, well, you just can't beat that. It's great.
Lyle also has a 12-year-old child of his own from a marriage that ended a few years ago. Lyle takes his role as Justin's father very seriously.
When you grow up a certain way and your father he abuses your sisters and beats on you and your brothers, you know that those things, because of what it takes from you as a human being, what it takes out of you, what it doesn't enable you to enjoy in your young life. As you grow older, if you know and understand why those things happened, and I've taken many times out of my life to figure out why that has happened and figured out the answers through a friend by the name of Marcia Davidson, who's helped me figure all this out. You understand that being a father and being a parent is probably the most important, sensitive, directional thing that you'll ever do in your life. Your kids depend upon you for the right answers, the right love, the right amount of emotion and understanding. And those things need to be worked on all the time. You can't allow, or you shouldn't try to allow mistakes to be made with your relationship with your kids. Mistakes are always made, but you should try and keep them as minimal as possible. In my younger days, the mistakes that I made, stealing cars and beating up people and doing all sorts of crazy things, taught me one thing. And that is that when you make a mistake and you've hurt somebody, never make the same mistake again, because then that's one less person that'll be hurting.
The success that Lyle Alzado continues to enjoy in his personal and professional life is proof of the strength of his values and convictions.
I'm not so interested in the fame and the money because I guess I've touched on some of those things, and those things aren't as important as many people might think they are. And to have a life like that, it's special and it's unique and it's fun, but it's not everything. I think to go out there and have a great game and have your teammates know that you've had a great game, or go out there and do a specific character and have your peers recognize that as good work. I mean, that's what it's about. When I look at what's happening here and what's happened in my career, it's like a dream. All the things that I never thought could possibly be have happened. And just maybe that the dreams I've always had, maybe I dreamed long enough and hard enough to make them come true.
America is watching ABC. Hey, feel the beat, yeah. Beat, move your feet, yeah. Sing it loud now, yeah. Join the crowd now, yeah. From the heartland, see the shining sea. Oh, America is watching ABC. All across this land, people tuning in and turning on a smile. Yeah, yeah, 'cause we understand.
We all got to get away for just a while.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do. We are family too. Feel it right at home in you.
All together now.
We know you'll like the view. If you're young or not so young, and you think it's all been done, baby, we got something new.
Watch us now.
Hey, feel the beat, yeah.
Move your feet.
Yeah.
Sing it loud now. Yeah. Join the crowd now. Yeah.
From the heartland, from sea to shining sea. Oh,
America is watching ABC.
Isn't it too dreamy?
Hey, feel the beat, yeah. Move your feet, yeah. Sing it loud now. Yeah. Join the crowd now.
Yeah.
From the heartland, from sea to shining sea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, America. America is watching ABC.
Brooke Shields is on location in Hoboken, New Jersey.
As I grow, the parts that I'm playing are growing in a different direction too, and it's just a matter of us, meaning the characters I play and myself growing together.
Her career is taking a new twist in Vidmark Entertainment's Backstreet Dreams.
Many doctors don't want to handle autistic children. Shane makes them feel completely ineffective. Those doctors are the ones who want to wait, and I don't agree. There is another therapy that has an encouraging success rate. It's a commitment to your son that's going to require all of your free time. Will you do it?
When I go into a character, I'm still learning even the process more fully, but I try to find out as much as I can about what the person does, who the person is. I try to create a background, create a person, and then what I'm doing much more now is because I have the time, is that I'm investing much more of myself into that character, finding out little bits of Stevie, little bits of Brooke, and having them then mesh together so that they can be as honest as possible.
I've been watching you, Stevie.
Leave us alone.
Oh, what are you gonna do? I mean, you gonna get someone after me? Maybe like the retarded old man here? Well, he's got a real tough reputation. See, I'll squash him like a bug.
Shane is not a retard.
Really?
And as for his father, two of you are just the same. Like you said, insects. Go away, we're busy. I like Stevie very much. I think she has integrity. She's an intelligent young woman who is not afraid to really stand for what she believes and support her own ideas. Yet she maintains a certain femininity about her. She has a strength coupled with that. And I think that she's very driven and extremely dedicated. And that type of drive I really admire in her. When I'm working with the kids, it's not just when I'm in front of the camera. I mean, I'm all the time with them. I definitely identify with Stevie in that sense with setting your mind to something and deciding that that's what you want and doing it. She has forced to be on her own more than I have. I'm as strong and as solid with what I want for myself and as ready to fight for whatever it is.
Milk, that's some of your milk.
Now it's yours. But I have a stronger support system, so I don't have to fight that. Whereas Stevie is forced to be alone, where what she wants is usually against what other people want or are willing to have her have. Well, I was engaged once. But you see, he could never understand my line of work because it didn't show a cash profit. So he tried to make me quit for about a year. I resisted, so he called it off. I was worried that I would be looked at as the pro and then maybe not given the support that I felt I still need and always need, because I don't want to carry a picture just because I happen to have made other movies, I need just as much support and I need just as much direction, and I think that that's where I was coming from. I came in and I just happened to have this sort of name stuck onto me, that creates something, and I didn't want any of the focus to be on that.
For Michael Jackson's brother Randy, family is everything.
Being a Jackson, one may think or would think that it would be easy, recording, making an album. But I think there is a certain level of excellence that's expected from my family because of the success that my brothers have had over the past years, and now Janet, that whole thing. So now, when anything comes from this family, people expect great things.
When it comes to being influenced, Randy's always had the best.
My brothers influenced me the most by far. I wasn't a part of the whole Motown era, early 70s. I never went to Detroit, and I never worked in Hitsville, so I only knew what they taught me at home. I was a little kid, so they were very influential. I don't think a lot of people know it, but I have been singing on Jackson Records since maybe 1971, and my face was never on the album covers because I wasn't signed with Motown. And so I basically had been a part of the band the whole time on record. I was never officially a group member, and I think psychologically that had an effect on me because I never felt quite equal. So, you know, the band would leave and go on tour and I would stay home. That whole thing. When the group left Motown, that's when I kind of became an official member of the band. By that time, I had these abilities to play all these instruments because I was left home so much that all I would do was just play and practice and play and try and force them to put me in the band and make me part of the group. So by the time we were signed to CBS Records, we were allowed to write and produce. That's when my abilities as a musician and a writer began to shine. The title of my album is Randy and the Gypsies, and there was a bit of friction there with A&M because I didn't use the name Jackson in the beginning. And, you know, I love my last name, not to take anything away from it, but I wanted to give the music a chance, not just because of who I was. I wanted to give the music a chance because I believed in the project and the music.
All the guys think you're sexy and you're fine, but all they want to do is manipulate your mind. All the while they're waiting, perpetrating, saying all the things the sounds got to yell. You better open your eyes.
Music is to enjoy. You know, that's why we're doing this in the beginning. I think sometimes artists forget the fact that music is for your listening pleasure. It's not just the business. I'm proud of everything we've done in our past history. This time I want to try something a little bit different. You know, we've had success over a number of years, many platinum records. We sold millions and played before millions of people. So now it's time for maybe a little bit of change, try something a little bit different. You know, nobody can eat the same dinner every day. So you want to try something a little bit different, a different course, different meal.
Do you know how much I love you, baby? Need I tell you? Do you want me? The girl's just a friend of mine, so just dry your eyes. No one could ever love me the way you do. Here is where I want to spend all of my days.
I had to find a reason and a purpose to go ahead and do this again because I was content with recording and writing with my brothers, being a Jackson member. So to step out and take charge and be the head man of a band, there had to be more of a purpose and more value in it for me. I'm kind of my own person. You know, I like to do what I want to do, you know, regardless of what whoever thinks. I like to do what I like to do. So I was maybe afraid a little bit that people wouldn't like my way of doing things or my music, you know. So, but I did it and this is it.
Ain't never had a woman as bad as you. There's no other drama in this world for me. So please, I'm a man who knows exactly the way he feels. Listen when I say, like the sun, my love will shine. Brighter through the darkest times. So it's something that you're mine. To love you with my life, I do love you.
Everything I do, I try to find purpose and meaning in it, not just some name out of the air. We lived together before. We all lived at the beach. I have a place at the beach, and we used to literally camp out and cook at night. Every night we would take turns cooking. We would play right on the beach like gypsies. So I said, you know, this is very interesting. You know, maybe we should call this band the Gypsies. So that's how it came about. I was working on the album before the whole band concept came about. And in the interim of the recordings, I said, you know, it would be really interesting if I had a band that would kind of put a curve in the whole thing, because I like to do things a little bit different. I like to take chances, and sometimes, you know, you don't win all the time, but it's a lesson. You know, there are results to me. I don't believe in failure too much. I believe in results, and I use it as stepping stone to further me in my next effort.
Can't help myself. I think of you and no one else. Little flower mine, things just ain't right. Here I count each lonely night since we said goodbye.
Music, there's no time when I sit down and say, okay, I'm gonna write a song. It's kind of a spontaneous reaction. I've never sat down and said I have to write a song and has written a song and completed it. It comes to me when I'm driving in the car, I shower, in a dream, or when I wake up in the morning. I always have a tape recorder handy. I can just kind of get it down real quick. And later on, I can go in the studio and work on it.
We almost had a love so true, should never go back.
It's kind of like that, and it repeats.
Introducing the amazing Jonathan.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We're going to start with a real cool magic trick where we actually go to try to find a volunteer from the audience to help. Oh, good, good. Come on up. Come on up. How you doing? Good. Jonathan. Dan. No, Jonathan. Jonathan. That's better. That's much better.
I originally started as a street performer in San Francisco, doing tricks on the street, one of the oldest professions. When I first got out there wasn't very many people out there. There was Harry Anderson from Night Court. There was A. Whitney Brown from Saturday Night Live. Basically, they took me under their wing and showed me how to get money from people. Because the people aren't there to see your magic show, they're there to shop. And to get them to stop and watch you is very hard to do. And when it comes time to ask for money, you have to look like you need it. And you use lines like, I don't do this for the money, I do it for the fun of it, but the more money, the more fun, and just clever ways of getting money out of people.
Give a $5 bill. No, we need it from you. And then, sir, do you have a handkerchief? Okay, then do this. Okay, great.
I never planned on being a performer or a magician. It just, I was stranded out in California. I had no money. The people that I went out to California with ditched me and another guy because we had a money fight over money, and they left us on the side of the road, and I did card tricks on the beach to get money, and it led to street performing, which led to the drug stage, and then to nightclubs, and then to the other drug stage, and now to concerts.
What we're going to do, actually, is remove the corner from Dan's spine. It's an illusion. I know this. Now, Dan, you know this trick. Good, I wish I did. Now, if something went wrong, you still have the corner. If anything happens, you take that to a bank, explain what happened. They'll tell you what you can do with that. Now, I want you to stick that corner in your top suit pocket, and we're going to roll the rest of this into a ball.
If I wasn't doing this, I probably would be working in Ford Motor Company on the assembly line, and or I'd be up in a tower waiting for the school bus with a high-powered rifle, or on a freeway somewhere. I don't know. No, I probably would be in Ford Motor Company working, because that's what I was going to do. I was going to come back and get a job in Detroit, where I'm from, and make the big bucks, and end up drinking beer with my friends in the back of a van somewhere. But now I'm out in California doing comedy, and I'm drinking beer in the back of a van with my friends still. But it's it's much better quality of beer now I can afford.
Okay, we're going to ignite Dan's $5 bill. It's an illusion. Now, do you know this trick? Good. Then you won't be bummed out, Dan. Dan, it actually looks like it's burning, doesn't it? Yes. It actually is burning. Let's try that again. Do you have a 20?
None of my None of my parents perform, but they're very supportive. Anything to get me out of Detroit, they were very happy to see me do anything with my life because I was just going nowhere fast. So they were thrilled. I mean, my dad, while he was alive, was my biggest fan, you know.
Pick one, it doesn't matter which. Whoops. Okay, hold that one. Now hold it in the air, Dan. Stand back a little bit. Don't move. Just relax, Dan. I'm not crazy. Yes, he is! Shut up!
My ideas come from being bored, sitting around watching cartoons and going, you know, I think I could do that. I could do that. He puts a bucket on his head. He takes the bucket off. His head shaped like a bucket. I can make that. Basically, anything that they can, Chuck Jones, Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner cartoons, they do, I can do in my workshop, you know. My only regret is that my best closing would be saying good night, folks, and having my legs go and not going anywhere, and just all of a sudden, poof, you're gone. Just like, but that's a hard one to work out.
You want to forget about your $5 bill? If you forget about the 5 I burned, I'll forget about this trick. Okay, good. I can't do that. I can't bring that 5 back. It's burned in the bucket now, Dan. It's burned in the magic bucket.
Right now, I'm home for a week. I'm taking a week off, and I'm not going back on the road for a while because a lot of people are staring at that. I don't want to show you this, but I figure I have to because I'm going to have this mole removed before I go back on the road. This mole on the back of my neck. I feel like a lot of people are staring at that as I walk down the street. It could be just me being self-conscious again, but I seriously believe that people are noticing that.
We're going to slice this into 2 pieces. Danny, I want you to pull on the top half of the lemon, if you would, please. Inside, you're going to find a $5 bill. I can't get that out. Pull. You're the king. Dan, watch this, James. There's the $5 bill missing from it a corner. Dan has the corner in his pocket. If it's the same one, even Dan would have to admit that it's pretty damn spooky. Now, match it up, Danny boy.
What I'm going to do is work on an effect where I'm going to recreate David Copperfield's walking through the Berlin Wall on a much smaller scale. I don't have the money that some magicians have. I'm not mentioning names. But this is the first time I'm ever going to try this. What you're going to see is my head go actually through the wall without breaking the brick. It's going to be really cool. So watch this. Kids, if you have brick walls at home, feel free. It's a psych up thing. I gotta mentally psych up for this. I gotta work on it.
David Cassidy's on the proverbial comeback trail with a new album and a new look. How did it all come about? Well, David isn't quite sure, but he certainly wasn't planning on it.
Wasn't planning on making a record. Thought, I'll never make a record again. And about a year ago, a couple of guys on my birthday were on the radio in LA, called me up at home, and wound me up, and they invited me to come down, and I did about 4 hours on the radio in Los Angeles, and the phones went crazy, and we went crazy. And during the 4 hours I talked about my life and what I was doing. I played 3 cuts of songs that I've been writing, and evidently, I don't know why, but some people liked them, and I got 3 separate offers after that show.
Cassidy's record sales in the 70s were based on the phenomenal popularity of the Partridge Family TV show.
I'm a songwriter, and I think that, I sold a lot of records during the 70s, and the only way for me really to have, I knew the only way people would ever look at me as opposed to the character I was playing on that television show that we sold so many records from, and perpetuating that old image was to leave it. And I left it a long time. Some say almost too long, but you see, it's all the tape that I use. Anyway.
All kidding aside, David's new approach to his music is a departure from what his fans might have expected.
For me, the reason that it works is because it's real and it's true. The material is mine, and I've stayed in it as a songwriter, and I think that ultimately is always going to be the test of whether something is successful or not, if the material is good. It doesn't matter whether you're 21 or 41, and I'm neither, so.
Again, I've been used to it. Hearts will break, they just bend. I'll come bouncing back. You barely left a scratch on me. You were nothing but a little plaything, and your love bite, it was only a sting. Baby, when you went, hardly made a dent.
Look who's back. It's the original Caped Crusader himself, Zorro. The legendary masked hero has returned. The Family Channel has brought a brand new Zorro to cable television, still fighting for the rights of peasants in old California with only a whip and a sword, just as he did when the classic tale started nearly a century ago. Do you know what Zorro means in Spanish? That's right, Zorro was the fox. Created in 1919 by pulp magazine author Johnston McGully, Zorro quickly captured the public's imagination. Less than a year later, Zorro made his first screen appearance in the silent classic The Mark of Zorro, starring a dynamic Douglas Fairbanks. Many popular adaptations followed, including a 1940 sound remake of the Fairbanks classic, this time starring the less athletic but handsome Tyrone Power. The popularity of Zorro reached perhaps an all-time high in 1957, when Walt Disney brought the story to television with Guy Williams wearing the famous mask. Since then, the story of Zorro has been kept alive by various projects, including the 1981 campy comedy Zorro the Gay Blade, starring George Hamilton. After a brief return to primetime television in 1982 with Disney's Zorro and Son, little was seen of the masked hero in the 80s.
You must stay on top of things, Sergeant.
But now the 90s are here, and so is Zorro.
Sergeant Mendoza, help!
Follow me. Will they catch him?
Catch him, senor. He is Zorro.
Do you know who is the only person who knows Zorro's true identity? Don Diego's ever-faithful mute manservant, Bernardo, of course.
Oh, don't go yet, amigos. What kind of men are you? Taking advantage of women and unarmed strangers,
Canadian-born actor Duncan Regehr dons the mask this time on the Family Channel's new weekly version of Zorro.
Never draw a sword unless you need to use it.
The suave 36-year-old actor is best known for his portrayal of another famous swashbuckler, Errol Flynn, in the TV miniseries My Wicked, Wicked Ways. Thanks in part to the swordplay in that role, Duncan has no problem with fencing Zorro style.
It's something that I've had to do in a number of films now, and I've been fortunate enough in this project to get Peter Diamond, who's a wonderful choreographer. He recently did Princess Bride, all the fights for Princess Bride, and he's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. So hopefully, with a little library that he keeps in his brain, we can pull out little sequences and use them for Zorro.
But can Duncan ride like Zorro?
Yeah, I used to raise cutting horses. Which wasn't a good idea, only because I get really involved with animals. If I own them, I get a little emotionally attached to them, and they die, and they get sick and that sort of thing, which is no reason not to have animals. It's just, with horses, it was too much for me. But yeah, sure, I can ride a horse.
Do you know the name of Zorro's horse? That's right, it's Tornado. It's been more than 70 years since Zorro rode out of the West and into his first big screen appearance, but Duncan Regehr carries on the hero's unmistakable looks and athleticism with his portrayal of Don Diego and Zorro, plus a little bit more.
Well, for me, I think I'm going to make a little bit of a difference than what has been traditionally known about them. Don Diego, to me, is really a put-on character, too. In other words, who is the real person behind Don Diego and Zorro? Only his assistant knows the truth.
We're right, Felipe. Those two thieves won't be bothering anyone for a while. Felipe, you didn't happen to touch this experiment.
Don Diego is the creation for everyone, including his own father, a rather retiring, gentle man who is also very bookish. By that I mean he's also a Renaissance man. He's interested in music and art and a lot of things, but nothing particularly physical. Zorro, on the other hand, is the flash character. He's the bandito, and the swordsman. And with that character, he's truly a character, a guy you never really get close to, and he's twinkling all the time. He has a lot of fun. Even in the worst fight, he's having a good time.
From the makers of Blood Simple and Raising Arizona, a world where nothing is what it seems to be. Leo, is he still the boss?
The day I back down from a fight, Casper's welcome to the rackets, this town, and my place at the table.
Casper, can he muscle in?
I'm sick of taking a strap from you, Leo. And I'm sick of the high hat.
Tom, would he sell out a friend?
You shouldn't be confronting Jenny Casper. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
I can still trade body blows with any man in this town, except you, Tom.
And Verna.
Verna, is she Leo's girl?
What did you tell Leo?
I told him you were a tramp and he should dump you.
I want everybody to be friends. You, me, Leo, the Danes. You
know who I am?
The Dane. Has he got it figured?
You dumping Leo for the guy who put a bullet in your brother?
All you gotta do to show you're a friend is give me Bernie Birnbaum. I can't, no.
Bernie, will he turn the tables?
Don't smart me. I want to watch you squirm. I want to see you sweat a little.
Two of us have faced worse odds.
Never without reason.
I thought you said you didn't care about Leo.
I said we were through. It's not the same thing.
I'm talking about friendship. I'm talking about character. I'm talking about ethics.
Albert Finney, Gabriel Byrne, Marcia Gay Harden,
I'm praying to you. I can't die.
and John Torturo.
Like a dumb animal. I can't die.
He's still alive.
You expect me to believe you?
No.
It's you all over, Tom. Alive and no heart.
Nothing is what it seems to be.
Up is down, black is white.
Nobody knows anybody.
At Miller's Crossing.
It sure looked like a Hollywood party. After all, that's where the party took place. And there was some fancy dancing going on, even by the waitresses. And like any good Hollywood party, there were plenty of people schmoozing. But this talk was far from Hollywood.
I am from Memphis, Tennessee, and I grew up there.
I'm from Jackson, Tennessee.
Yeah, I grew up in a little place there in Memphis called Chickasaw Gardens.
I'm from Baptist Hospital. I mean, that was my original hospital of origin.
Tell them where that is. Tell them where it is.
It's like downtown Nashville.
It's all Tennessee. Seems like I know everybody that's in here.
I'm a Canadian from southern Ontario.
Well, almost everyone was from Tennessee because this was the second annual Tennessee reunion.
This is the one time of the year when they bring the Tennessee soul food and the barbecue out to California.
And they bring along something else that's distinctly Tennessee.
A Tennessee person brings out a slight twang in their accent. A certain charm.
I only get back into my Tennessee accent when I get around southern folk.
Well, I never have lost mine completely anyway, but it comes back real thick when you're around people. Absolutely.
I think if I have one more Jack Daniels, my Tennessee accent will be way back.
It's also the one time each year when Tennesseans get to celebrate and promote the contribution of their state to the entertainment industry. In fact, Tennessee ranks in the top 10 in the nation for film and music production revenue.
What do you want to say? Let's do our one today. One Saturday, every day, all day long. That's it. That's all we know. You gotta come to the Grand Ole Opry. You gotta come to Nashville.
The music business is alive and well in Nashville, Tennessee. There is a small rock scene going on right now. For the most part, we make our living through country music and some gospel.
Nashville has a very, very diverse music scene. It's not all country. I think that's a misconception around the United States that Nashville is just country music and nobody wears shoes and we suck on pieces of straw and stuff. That's not true. There's all kinds of music going on in town, from jazz to rock, fusion to you name it.
We're not country punk or country rock or anything. So we want a name that would distinguish us out of all the whole category of that kind of music. So the Roll for a China, it's like if you were to dig a hole from Nashville, Tennessee,
into the straight center of the earth, he'd come out in China. So the Royal Court of China, the farthest away he could come. I got it.
Even though this reunion was nearly 3,000 miles away from the real place, it seemed to live up to Tennessee standards.
I think it's going really well, but you know, we've only been here 15 minutes. So.
It took us a while to get here. We don't have roads like this in Tennessee.
Yeah, we're lost in LA. We were driving around. We finally found it. It was a miracle.
By accident.
Why did we come to LA to do this? It would have been so much cheaper to do it at home.
Help me.
Here we go. Rolling. And action.
Meryl Streep and Shirley MacLaine star in Postcards from the Edge, the story of Suzanne Vale, a young actress trying to straighten out her life and her relationship with her mother.
Who are you really angry with? Hello, darling. Hello, dear. Oh. Hi, Mama.
She's someone who's had a very privileged life in Hollywood, daughter of a famous star of the 50s. And she's in her mid-30s, and she's trying to make it in the same business as her mother. And it's about making her way back to real life without drugs and out from under the shadow of her mother.
Can I meet your mother?
Sure, Bart. This is my mom.
Oh, Miss Mann, I can't believe I'm meeting you. Ever since I was about 7, I wanted to be you.
Bart does you in his drag show.
The problems of mother-daughter relationships and how sticky they can be and how lovingly combustible they are was something that I've been living with for 33 years with my daughter. So I love the idea of playing a character where I could reveal my own experience in it.
You see, she's exactly like me when I was her age. What I'm doing, I feel like I belong after film. I feel never stopped necessary. working. I know how and to it was do very, that. very good therapy for me after my divorce and my miscarriages.
These are the conditions for doing this film. For the run of the film, you stay with your mother.
Okay, I'll stay with her. You know what they say? Great, fine. No pain, no gain. Well, no wonder I'm so hefty.
We just came by to say hi and make sure that everything's up to snuff. And we're going to need a drug screen.
Excuse me?
It's a formality of the business.
So do you want blood or urine?
I think urine would be fine.
Got it?
Postcards from the Edge is the third collaboration between Streep and director Mike Nichols. Following Silkwood and Heartburn, the actress found some of the things in the movie hitting close to home.
To me, it was interesting because it's about being the daughter of a famous person. So I have a sort of unnatural interest in this subject because I have children of my own.
How would you like to have Joan Crawford for a mother? Or Lana Turner?
These are the options.
I think you had it pretty good.
You or Lana or
No, when
Joan.
I had my breakdown, I would have killed myself if it hadn't been for you.
I have great sympathy for the mother, of course. This was a difficult position because I was playing the daughter, but I had great sympathy for the mother. I think it is. It's hard to raise a child and to know what's right. And I just think you do the best you can. You muddle through.
Remember my 17th birthday party when you lifted your skirt up in front of all those I people? did not lift including my that guy skirt. Michael. It twirled up! And you weren't wearing any underwear.
Well, the mother has certain very well-developed senses of denial, but she's honest about the denial. And the daughter's pointing it out to her all the time.
Good times and bum times, I've seen them all, and my dear, I am still here. Are you sure I didn't sleep with you?
Sleep? Yeah.
I was with him Saturday night. That's 2 girls in one day.
Yeah, that's just the ones we know about.
You said you loved me.
I admit it at the time.
Well, what is it, a viral love? Kind of a 24-hour thing? I'm feeling transcendental.
Am I here? It was nice to sort of make it be about the evolution of someone and to have that be something that you can hear. You can actually hear her gain strength and confidence in her being, you know, through her voice.
You can give that sad bellhop my bebop and blues guitar, 'cause I'm only gonna sing them sweet
Seems like it takes a crisis to bring us together lately, doesn't it?
This is about a certain amount of generosity of spirit that parents sort of hand the future over to their children. With what amount of grace they do that.
Open up that door. I'm leaving and I won't be back no more. I'm checking out of these heartbreak hotels.
Never let them see you ache. That's what Mr. Mary used to say. Or was it ass? Never let them see your ass.
Shirley MacLaine took time out to talk about the similarities and differences between her life and her role in Postcards.
Lots of differences. I don't think an awful lot of similarities, because my daughter didn't have a drug problem or an alcohol, nor do I have an alcohol problem. Also, I don't think I'm as able to be as stringently honest and direct with my daughter as Doris Mann is. I don't like your hair. I really don't think you should wear those shoes with this dress. The belt looks terrible, and by the way, you look awful because you didn't have any sleep last night. I don't say that to my daughter. I haven't got the courage to say that. I'm more democratic than that, and sometimes that can be a problem, you know, that you don't speak your mind. So the differences are more graphic than the similarities. She is an actress, and a developing one, and one who is going through the struggle. She isn't anywhere near throwing it away like the woman in the film is, like Meryl plays. Mm-hmm. So I say the differences are greater than the similarities.
Shirley's relationship with her daughter, Sashi, is in some ways very much like her relationship with Meryl Streep's character, and quite different in others.
That's another big difference. I want Sachi to just be happy, and if it's getting married and having a child or something like that, and really, really devoting herself to the whole nurturing process of everyday living with the child, because I didn't do that. I think that would be wonderful. But she wants to act, and she wants to combine the two. She thinks that she can, so that's what we talk about.
When it comes to making decisions about her film projects, Shirley listens to her inner voice.
I guess I'm a selfish decider. I think when it resonates to something I'm interested in, I think I don't really care too much whether the public will like it or not. It's if I like it, and if it makes my scalp tingle, I know that's what I should do. I can't decide on formula basis. Well, I should do a love story with some action in it, or a woman who gets left, or a woman who can't decide how to combine a career and motherhood, because I think that's a mommy track idea to do. I think I make up my mind when I see each one individually, and it's definitely intuitive. Gosh, I don't think a lot about what I think I ought to do. I don't do that ever, really. I really do what I believe and what is comfortable for me and happy making for me. I don't think I would ever again do something that I was really miserable with. I really would walk away from it. I don't care what the rewards.
Shirley MacLaine has been a political campaigner, an author, and a documentary filmmaker. She first appeared on stage as a child. Discovered by Hal Wallace in 1955, she made her film debut in The Trouble with Harry. Her red-headed good looks, girlish humor, and natural timing made her popular as a kook or kindly floozy in films like Irma la Douce and Sweet Charity. Saddling up with Clint Eastwood in Two Mules for Sister Sarah, she rode into her first and only Western. After 4 years away from the bright lights of Hollywood, Shirley returned to acting as an ex-ballerina in Turning Point. Some say her acting in the 1979 film Being There was as excessive as her co-star Peter Sellers' performance was restrained. In 1984, Shirley finally won her longed-for Best Actress Oscar in Terms of Endearment. Now, as the 90s roll in, Shirley MacLaine continues her long and steady climb up the ladder of success, her upward spiral to stardom, with her latest effort in which she shares the stage with Meryl Streep, Postcards from the Edge.
Singer-songwriter Lou Gramm is best known for his powerful vocal performances with supergroup Foreigner. And like many of the lead vocalists from groups that make their mark on the music charts, Lou Gramm has ventured out on his own again with his second solo effort.
I've gotta take a little time to think things over.
My second solo album is called Long Hard Look. I think it was done after a lot of soul searching to kind of see if I wanted to continue pursuing a solo career. And obviously I do, and I think I'm bearing down on it a little bit harder. It takes more and more of a priority in my life. The songs are all written over the past year. And I've pretty much kept the same rhythm section that I had on the first album. Bruce Turgan on bass, my brother Ben Graham on drums. And this time out, it was produced by Peter Wolf, an Austrian producer and songwriter who collaborated with me on a few songs. And another was written with me by Holly Knight. And the bulk of the songs were written with Bruce Turgan, who is my main collaborator in my solo efforts.
Staring at each other with accusing eyes, keep our voices low and don't act surprised if the word gets out. Yeah, that's alright. I know you're just looking for some sympathy, but listen, you don't know how it gets back to me.
For his second solo album, Lou Gramm has taken a slightly different direction.
I think for the most part, we went after a little more of an aggressive feel song for song, a little more importance placed upon spontaneity and character in playing. For my part, I felt my first effort vocally, my first solo album, was a little bit on the reserved side. In having Peter produce this album, it let me focus a little bit more on not only the songs and the impact that they would have, but getting the best out of myself, kind of stripping away the inhibitions and going for it.
Now don't you know that one cold word's gonna lead to another? Then we'll have nowhere to go. Even if heaven and earth collide tonight, we'll be all alone in a different light. I don't care what the world can't see. It's just between you and me.
When Lou sang with Foreigner, taking on solo projects could be quite a problem, but Lou believed he had the answer.
I think from a musical standpoint, juggling the two careers is not a problem. I take great pains in my solo projects to make sure from an arrangement and kind of production standpoint that there would be no confusing what I'm doing for Foreigner. The voice you can't do much about. That's the same in both instances. I have a lot of pride in what I do with Foreigner, but I think after 13 years, it's a fairly formatted sound. I know what to expect when working with Mick and the rest of the guys.
I see telltale signs of a love and decline. Should be something to say, but we don't take the time. And I don't understand, but that's alright. Now you can turn the page or you can tear me apart. Don't make an open book out of my private heart.
Lou Gramm's musical influences are extremely varied and include some of rock and roll's greatest.
I think the things that I listened to when I was growing up, like Motown, like the people who could really sing, Marvin Gaye and Aretha Franklin and Smokey and Otis and those people, I think they influenced me tremendously on a vocal level. And as far as songwriting, I think that the Beatles, you know, were world changers. On a creative level, they made their own inroads. While that served as inspiration to me, I hear that same type of thing now. Coming from new artists, I'm always scanning the alternative radio stations for something new and interesting, and I don't know, people like Sinead O'Connor or The Replacements, or just brash, outspoken, non-conforming type of acts are the ones that are appealing to me. And while people may know me for a little bit more of a mainstream rock approach, I do have my musical appreciation for other things that are going on, and I reckon I'll be a little more adventurous in projects to come.
Don't you know that one cold word's gonna lead to another, and then we'll have nowhere to go. Even if heaven and earth collide tonight, we'll be all alone in a different light. Now I don't care what the world can see, it's just between you and me. Even if heaven and earth collide tonight, we'll be all alone in a different light. Now I don't care.
When a supergroup's lead singer decides to go solo, it usually leads the press and many fans to believe that the band is breaking up. In Lou's case, these words were grimly prophetic.
I'm very proud of the album, and it's representative of where I am musically right now, and I'm anxious to get on with the next one.
Although she's probably best known as the freewheeling lady cab driver on Taxi, actress Mary Lou Henner would like to be known for other things as well. This list includes a new movie, a new TV series, Evening Shade, and a new marriage to producer Robert Lieberman. But in our final frame, she shares her thoughts on rainbows, tweaking, Travolta, and Plan B.
My number one theory is that the key to life is how well you deal with Plan B. And if you really think about what that means that you can aim for Plan A, but then what happens to your life and your adjustment to what happens is really the key to your life. So that the key to life is how well you deal with Plan B, you know, because you can have that kind of roll with the punches sort of personality, or you can be somebody who stands so rigid and firm that they can't adjust to what actually happens in their life, that they're never really happy.
Mary Lou on tweaking.
I've also got this talent that I call tweaking, which is where, you know, remember in the old series Bewitched, you tweak, Samantha sort of tweaked her nose, you know? Well, we call it tweaking for me. For example, we were in New York a few weeks ago, and Rob said, oh my gosh, you know, how are we going to get a taxi because it's 7:45 and it's starting to rain and everybody's on their way to the shows, etc. So I said, just a minute, let me just hang in there a minute, let me just tweak on it. So I just closed my eyes and I really concentrated on getting a car. And all of a sudden, this limo driver pulled up next to us and said, Mary Lou Henner, I love you. Oh my God, you've given me so many hours of, you know, I love your show, blah, blah, blah. Come on, where are you going? I'll take you in free of charge.
Mary Lou on friend and co-star John Travolta.
Johnny and I have known each other for a very long time. You know, our earliest theatrical, I became a professional actress when he and I did the show Grease together. And we became friends instantly, and then, you know, two people spend a lot of time together, especially on the road, and things happen. So we were together, and we had one of these really great relationships that spanned a lot of years, and it seemed like every time we were in between other partners, we'd sort of get together. And we never got married, I mean, but we lived together for a while and shared a lot of other things.
And finally, Mary Lou Henner on rainbows.
I also have my rainbow theory, which is that people go from the colors, you know, purple. People go from purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. People go through all the colors of the rainbow. When you're in purple mode, this is now how my family talks to each other in shortcut, because we'll call each other and say, "Are you in purple?" And you'll say, "Oh my God, no, I'm not in purple, I'm in red." And it's like, okay, well, we can't go out together. When you're in purple mode, you're like a Nazi. I mean, you floss perfectly. You get up every morning and you feel like you're in perfection mode. You work out, you've perfectly food combined, you eat perfectly, you don't drink, you have disdain for your fellow man. You're pretty much living by yourself and on your own because you've just decided to put that cattle prod to the brain and you're in purple mode. Then you move into blue because man is a social animal and you start thinking, well, you know what, I want to go see my friends, plus I'm feeling so good, I feel my skin looks great and everything. So you start moving into blue, but you start to feel a little nervous when you're around too many other people because you think you're going to lose the magic. Then you move into green, and greens are like perfectly balanced. They are the most magnanimous people because they can hang out with purples and they can hang out with reds. And greens, you know that you can party, but you know how to spring it back into action, and you know how to wake up and feel disciplined. Then you move into yellow, and what you're starting to do is you're starting to fake a green. You are going to too many parties, and you're starting to wonder when happy hour is, you know. But you're starting to wear a little bit more black and looking at yourself in mirrors from a distance. Then you're moving into orange, and you are really ready for the party. I mean, you are waking up every day wondering, no, I'll work out next week and stuff like that. Then when you move into red, you're either lying on a floor with drool coming out of your mouth, or you're in Italy, okay? So now this is red mode. Now, purples and reds can't hang out together. I mean, it's totally impossible. And you usually don't go back in colors. You don't usually go from, purple. I mean, you usually don't go from red back to orange. You usually have to hit rock bottom red and then move into purple, you know. And I'm going to Italy next week.
Hi, I'm Karen Christian for Persona Video Magazine, and this is Star Watch, where we find out what's happening with your favorite stars astrologically. Is there an Emmy, an Oscar on the mantle, a baby on the way, or wedding bells? Let's start off first with Clint Eastwood, Gemini. We're going to find that his new movie, White Hunter Black Heart, has great shot, not only nationally, but internationally. His lawsuit with Sandra Locke, Gemini, could be settled in November out of court. You'll find this is going to be a great year for Clint. The next 2-year cycle, it's full speed ahead. Brooke Shields, Gemini. She'll probably end up penning a book all about being a child star. We'll also find that, Brooke, your success comes from Europe, Japan, and Australia. Keep those 3 areas in mind. And June, a great month for a marriage, so look for some wedding bells. Lyle Elzado, April 3rd, Aries. Our football hero is doing great with his new restaurant. It's certainly a place to come and watch the stars. You'll also see children, a book, and many things to do with the Japanese this year evolving around him. He has some great entertainment aspects, and we may even see Lyle on the big screen. Shirley MacLaine, Taurus. Her new movie, Postcards from the Edge, will most surely get her a nomination for an Oscar. We'll also see that she's going to have 2 following projects, one dealing very much with metaphysicals. She's no longer out on a limb. She has definitely landed on that tree of life securely. We'll find that this is going to be a time she'll be directing, producing, and even writing. She'll be tempted to do another book, but I see her doing a screenplay. Randy Jackson, Virgo. You'll find that Randy is going to be spending a lot of time doing international projects. London, Vienna, Switzerland, also France. Randy, this is a time for you to do a lot of musical projects dealing with calendars, stationery, and even some high-tech Japanese things. So keep this in mind. Also, there's a screenplay and a book. So keep that pen close, or that recording device, because you've got some great ideas that will have you in 91 being appreciated on the international level. John Travolta, Aquarius. You'll find that John is in his best cycle from his Saturday night days. And you'll also see that this is a time when John will go into his workaholic phase. From February 7th of 1991 through May of 93, he's on a run. There's a child in his chart, looks like an adoption. If not, he's going to be doing a lot of work with children and more movies about babies. John, this is your time to shine. You're going to find that you're going to end up being one of the top 10 box office people. For Persona Video Magazine, I'm Karen Christian, and this is Star Watch, an astrological look at your favorite star.